later. I want to share my screen now, and I will show you something I like us to achieve. I'm sharing my screen, and I want to show us something I like us to achieve in maybe in 2 or 3 classes. Okay, and this I want to bet it with you that you have not actually come across it before. So I'll teach you, and at the same time, as usual, I'm going to give you guys assignment. Okay, so this is a simple game like question and answer. You can also use your your Scratch to set question and for people to answer. All right, now for instance, I'm going to click the green button, and I have some dummy question here. If I click on the okay, I'll stop. If I hit S button, I have the question and answer, and I can hit S button, H, to hide them. So when I click on my green flag, the computer is actually prompting me to pick from number 1 to 5. So let me pick number 4. Let's see what is there. Number 4. So this is your question. Example of an operating system is Windows, yes or no. All right, so I will say yes. Let's see if I'm right. I'm correct. Good. All right, let me pick another number 5, and let's say, is Scratch programming a browser? I'll say no. Let's see, yes, I'm correct. So let me pick another one. I'm gonna pick number 1, and then let's see, what is your name? Just a dummy question. So I want to intentionally input a wrong answer. So I will just say Samuel, and if you are wrong, let's see what will happen. You are what? You are wrong. Right, so I'll go back. Now we can achieve this simple thing using something called array in Scratch. I want to open a fresh page now. Okay, I just opened a fresh page now, and today we want to actually talk on array. Okay, in some other programming languages like the advanced ones, we call it array, but in the Scratch we call it list. Okay, what did I say? We call it list. Okay, so I'm going to create list and tell us how it works. Okay, but before I create list, I want to tell us the function of a list. Okay, I want to tell us the function of a list. Now there is a difference between list and variable. Now what do I mean? Let me tell you the difference between variable and a list in or let's say array in programming language. Variable can only contain or hold one value. For instance, if you have a bottle of water, okay, your bottle can only contain water, right? If it is kerosene, if it is petrol, it can only contain one content. Okay, that is your variable. Your variable can only contain one value. So the value can be integer, which is number. The value can be alphabet, which is string. The value can be boolean, and so on and so forth. But your variable can only contain one value. But your list can contain as many values as possible. Do you get it now? That is the major difference. Your list can contain as many values as possible. All right, so just think of your list like your cupboard or your wardrobe, that you can you can have your shirts, your trousers, your shoes inside your cupboard. You see a cupboard. You get it now? That is a list. Okay, now we want to harness the power of our list to create our question and answer. So to create a list, what do? You come to the variables, then you go to my list. So let's create continents in the word continents. All right, so I click on continents, this video will be made available, all right, after this class. So if you did not even get it now, when you rewatch that video, you get it later. So we have continents as well as our list. So when green flag is clicked, all right, the first thing that I want to do is I'll come to my variables and I want to add things to my continent. We have Africa, right?
Antarctica.
We have Europe. Which other one?
South America.
We have South America.
South America.
Okay. We have North, right?
America.
Which other one do we have? We have what? Asia.
Antarctica.
Asia.
Yes, Asia. Yes.
Antarctica. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6. It remains 1. There are 7. What's the last one? We have Australia, right? We have Australia. So we have 7 continents. Okay, good. Continent, whatever. So we have 7 continents. Okay. All right. Now, this is the list. That is array. So it's only one thing, which is what continent, that holds all this continent. Do you get it now? It's only one list named continent that holds 7 variables for us. All right. I can hide my continent if I don't want my. So I will go again to my events when green flag is clicked. But now note something. If I show my list back, I want to note something. See that we now have 24 instead of 7. If I click another green button, we now have 31, which is here. If I click another green button, we now have 38, which means the list keeps growing, duplicating, and that is not what we want. Okay, so to fix the problem, what I will do right now is I will delete everything on this. So I don't have anything on my list again. Okay, so I will add what I have before. So the meaning is that when you click your green button, you only have 7 continents. So when you click it again, it will delete the one you have before, give you fresh one. So this one will not duplicate. So when I click on green button, it will delete and give me the fresh one, which is still 7. If I click on the green button again, the same thing happens, delete what we have before, fresh one. Okay, all right. So we want to relate with our list. Okay, and we want to ask users to enter, to tell us names of that we have. So here, so we have lists of our continents already, and we want to prompt users to ask questions. Okay, so we want to ask questions from our user. So I will say mention one continent the world. We want to ask our user to mention continent the world. Just mention one. So if they are right, then what will happen is that the answer they supply, the computer will scan through this. If the answer is there, then they are right. If the answer is not there, then they are wrong. That is what we want to achieve quickly. So I want to send it the other time, and I asked a question: mention one continent in the world. All right. So I'll create another variable to hold their answer. Okay. For now, this is optional. But let me. I think this is optional, and it's not optional really. It's not optional. So what I will do is I will create a variable. We'll create a variable, and I will call it input. So I want to use this variable. You know, I told you the difference between variable and array. You should know the difference by now. So I want to save the user's answer into this variable. So what I will say is that I will set this input into the answer. So what do I mean? What I mean is that when I ask somebody about the continent, okay, so I will ask question and set the answer they supply, okay, as input. Okay, so I can this input I can just clear it right there. So I want to check if what they supplied is correct. Okay, you know, I told you when we are starting this class that this one is different from what we have been doing before. So I want to check if what they supply is the same or different from what we have in the list. So I'll go to control if statement. We have our if statement here. So I will say if this is what we are going to use. If apple contains A, and we all know that apple actually contains A, then this statement is true. So we say if the continent that we have created the other time, okay, if this continent contains this input right here, you know, let me explain again. From our green button, we ask them question. Okay, this is the answer they produce, which is under sensing. So we save the answer into a variable. So you want to check if the answer they supply is inside this continent. Okay, so if continent contains input, what are we going to do? We are going to say hello. No, we are going to say good job. We are going to say good job. Okay, good job, you are right. Okay, you are going to say good job, you are right. Okay, but please pardon me, since it is just two conditions, it's better I use if else once and for all. So this if else is just like two conditions instead of using if every now and then. So if continent contains the input they supply, then we say good job, you are right. Okay, I'll set this seconds to 4. Else, which means it is not in the continent that we have, I will say you are wrong, try again. You are wrong, so you can do what? Try again. So that is what I want to achieve. So let's see, I'll play this. Mention one continent in the world. So let me put Africa. You have Africa. Good job, you are right. Do you get it now? So if I play the game and I say, let's say I say Canada. Canada is not a continent. So if I play, do you see you are wrong, try again? Do you get it now? So I can add everything inside forever. I can add everything inside forever, and it will prompt me again if I'm right or if I'm wrong. I can add score. You know, I can do so many things. So I just want to add another thing now that I will quickly explain. I'll go to say if you are correct, I will add another thing for 4 seconds. And the word am I hide? Do I want to add? If you are right, I want to print out the continent that you mentioned, and I want to tell you where it is on the list. Okay, so if I go to variables, if I go to operators, there's something that we are going to use to join statements together, which is this one, join apple and banana. I put it here. I need this one again, join apple and banana. What we are trying to do is we want to join statements together. That's just the function of this one. We want to join statements together. So when we have this, let me shift it to the left. When we have this, so I want to say your input. Let's say if it is Canada, I want to say the input that you provided, okay, is So let's say it is Africa. You can say Africa is number, okay, Africa is number what? So there's another block that we can make use of, which is under this, the make list, and this is the option right here. I'll put it here, then go back to my input and put it here. So what we are trying to do is if you are right, then we have good job, you are right for 4 seconds. Then you are going to say again the input, which means the Africa. If it is Africa or Europe or anything, let's say it is Europe, you can say Europe is number, the number of your input in the continent. Okay, so let me play so that we see it clearly. So mention one continent. Sorry, nobody corrected me for this. Mention one continent. Mention one continent in the world. So let me say Europe. So this, good job, you are right. Let's see, Europe is number 2. Can we see that? But I forgot to put space, so I put space here and I've had another space here. So let me play it again. So continents in the world, I put Asia, and let's see when I play. Good job, you are what? You are right. Let's see, Asia is number 5. I hope you get it now. So what if you are wrong? Okay, what if you are wrong? I still want computer to print out what you type and tell you that you are wrong. Okay, so the same thing, I'll just duplicate this one quickly, add it here. So I will say input. So if you are wrong, what will happen? I will say you are wrong, your input is not in the list. That is what I want to achieve. So I will say, I'll put this one, I'll say input that you supply is not in the list, is not in the list. So that is what I want to achieve. What you supply is not in the list. So let's try. Okay, this is where we are. So let's check. So mention one continent in the world. So I'll mention Africa. I mentioned Africa. Good job, you are right. Cool. So what if African is number 1? Do we get it now? And if you come to check the list that we have here, Africa is actually number 1, which is fantastic. So let's put something that is not a continent. Let's see, this one, Canada is not in the list. Okay, I'll increase this one to be 4. Okay, so